we're gonna do another 24-hour readathon. I'm not doing it the same way that I did it last time. I did a 24-hour readathon, my first one ever, about like a month, maybe 2 months ago when my friend Caitlin came over. We kind of did just 24 hours in a row. We let the timer run and it was really fun, but I really want to challenge myself and see how many books can I read in 24 hours. Plus, I don't really want to mess up my sleep schedule. It's currently December 22nd. The whole reason I even want to do this little challenge is I really want to get some more books read for my end of year like reading goal. And so yeah, we're just gonna see. I think today I want to do like a 12-hour day and then maybe do a 12-hour day tomorrow. But if that doesn't work out, we might have to read some while I'm at my parents' house for Christmas. It's right now 7:40 in the morning. Timer is going. My first book I am going to be reading today is going to be Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. If you do not know what this book is about, this is the spin-off like adult fantasy series of her YA fantasy series Kingdom of the Wicked. So this is following all of the brothers. I'm only 50 pages into it. I really don't have any opinions yet, but I really want to finish this, and then I really want to finish some books that have been on my TBR for a while. So that is the goal. Miss Stella Bella is tired. Let's read. You guys, when any of you use a book light, do you actually put it on the book? Because I really just read like this. I'm just being real. Okay, we are almost a full hour into this challenge. We are right now 51 minutes into it. And I just hit part 2 of Throne of the Fallen. I'm on chapter 14 or page 122, but I'm really hungry. So I'm gonna get up and make some breakfast. Would you like an egg this morning? I'm gonna make us some eggs for breakfast and some hash browns and something. I'm really enjoying this book. So the plot of this story, we're following how this is like a spin-off series. In this book, we're following Prince Envy, and all we know in the start of the book is that there's some sort of game going on and that he has to get a painting of a hexed object, but specifically from this one artist, and she refuses to do so. He's right now just trying to get her to agree to it, but we just learned some terms that she's kind of, I don't know, held to, I guess. I really hope that this is available on audiobook because I really want to listen to it while I'm making breakfast. I don't want to like have to switch over to a different book. It's available on audiobook. Thank God. The audiobook is 18 hours long. No. So I'm on chapter 14. So hopefully that's track 14. They don't actually have it sorted by the chapters, which is so annoying.
Chapter 9.
Why would track 14 be chapter 9?
Part 2. A Deal with the Devil.
Chapter 14.
Also, can I just say that voice is crazy? That would be like the voice I would imagine Lust being, not Envy. Anyways, I'm gonna make some breakfast. Let's go. You guys, I can't take, okay, the book is dual POV and reading it, like, is fine, whatever, but I can't take this guy's accent seriously. He has such a deep voice. Of course they would hire a dude like that for this book, but it's just throwing me off. Ah! My first coffee of the day, and I'm gonna try something new. I found this at the grocery store the other day. It says to shake it well. This is almond milk, but it's the eggnog flavor. Listen, I've not had eggnog in like a couple years, and I always think I'm going to like it, and I never do. But I'm curious if I will like this. Let's try this. I don't think I'm gonna like that. Well, it's too late. It's already in my coffee. That's so disappointing. Honestly, I should have tried it before I put it in my coffee because it probably would have been good if I added like brown sugar or something. I mean, it's coffee. I am 2 minutes away from being 4 hours into this reading challenge. I've made a pretty decent dent into Throne of the Fallen. I'm on chapter 45, page 357. So I've read about 300 pages in almost 4 hours, which is like less than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be further, but I was listening to quite a bit of this book while I was making breakfast and things like that. My goal is I'm gonna just sit down, grind out, read the rest of this book. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely forgot how the Kingdom of the Wicked series ended. If you've not read that series, you don't necessarily need to read it in order to read this series, but if you read this series without reading Kingdom of the Wicked, you're gonna have something spoiled for you. And just in general, I would recommend to read Kingdom of the Wicked before reading this. But I really love this world, and literally last night I bought the second book at Target because they had a buy one get one half off deal on their books, and I really want to directly go into the second book and read the next, I don't know who the second book, The Prince, is, but the whole point of me doing this was to get books that have been on my TBR for a really long time off of my TBR, so we're not going to read that book next. I will say I'm very excited to have Prince Sloth's book. He pretty much, like, his royal court is just like a huge library, it seems like, and I'm really excited to learn more about his character because he seems very smart and cunning, but other people see it as like he's lazy and spends all day reading. So yeah, I'm enjoying this book. Gonna finish this, and then honestly I might switch to an audiobook for a little bit so that I can clean, shower, get ready for the day, even though it's literally 11:52. Like, it's noon. About to hit under 20 hours. 19 hours and 59 minutes to go. Let's do this. I have officially finished Throne of the Fallen. This took me 5.74 hours. I did the math. Right now I have 18 hours and 26 minutes left on my timer. So this took me like 5.5 hours or so. I think right now, if I were to rate this book, I would rate this like a 3.75, or honestly maybe even like a 3.9 star read. I don't think it's a 4-star. That feels a little bit too high of a rating for me, but I really enjoyed being in this world and being with these characters again. I just think the beginning of the book was a little slow for me, and then this morning when I was reading it, I was having a hard time just like getting myself into the mode of reading and imagining the story. So I think that kind of messed with my rating a little bit. We finished our first book of this readathon. I have my timer right now paused. I had to pause it a few times. I just had to like take care of Stella for a little bit and do some other things, but we're gonna start our second book, and I think I know what I'm gonna pick. Usually, anytime that I read, just in general, I do try and switch up genres, and I have a few fantasies that I have on my shelf that I want to read, but this book, Stone Blind, has been on my TBR for a really long time. I want to read it, get it off of my TBR, finally know, what this is. This, I believe, is a retelling of the story of Medusa, so I'm excited to read this. I'm hoping that it's different enough that I'm not going to feel burnt out with the sort of like fantasy, like magical worlds. I know that this is more so like a historical Greek mythology retelling. Usually after I read fantasy, I'll either read like mystery or romance, something that's like a complete 180, and this isn't, so we'll see how this goes. I'm actually gonna start this on audiobook just because I want to clean and take a shower and then make some lunch. I'm gonna start my timer back up.
Gorgoneon, I see you. I see all those whom men call monsters, and I see the men who call them that. heroes, of course. I only see them for an instant.
Hello. It has been like an hour since I last talked to you. I'm right now actually making lunch, even though it's literally 3 p.m. But I just got out of the shower and like braided my hair, whatever. I've been listening to the audiobook for Stone Blind. I am right now past this chapter. I'm right now on page 84. It's reading really fast and I am really glad that I chose this one. I just wasn't expecting this book is a lot of POVs. I don't know why I was expecting it literally to only be about Medusa. I was expecting this book to be more just directly the story of Medusa. We've already had the chapter where she is assaulted by Poseidon in Athene's temple, but right now the story is focusing on a war that is going to happen, and there's so many different POVs in this book and different gods and goddesses and the giants and different things, and I'm not that familiar with this direct story in Greek mythology, so I don't know if this is the direct story or if this author is taking liberties within the story itself, but I am liking it. It's going by fast. Almost 3, so the Vikings play today, but Gus needs me to go with him to Sephora to pick out a blush for my sister because she broke hers today. So I'm gonna do that later after the game is over. And then I'm kind of hoping, I just want to stay up today and stay up tonight and see how far we can get into this. We have about 17 hours and 20 minutes left of this challenge, which is a lot. Like, that's a lot. I don't know. I want to try and knock out as much time as we can today. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook. I'll probably lay down and read for a little bit.
Children's lives depended on her. But she had
You guys, I'm listening to this story and they're talking about Perseus as a character. And I'm just realizing that this is Percy Jackson, bitch. I'm just realizing that, yeah, that this is the character that Percy Jackson is based off of. Is that stupid for me to say? I understand the multiple different like POVs because Perseus has to go after Medusa and kill Medusa. So we haven't seen Medusa be turned to the snake little thing, but we have seen her assault, and now we've seen the other character lines and how it's going to combine probably. So interesting. I am on page 228. I think there's like 370 pages in this book. I'm really enjoying the book, but it's getting to a point where I'm getting bored. I like it, and I like the way that the author is telling like this story in a, like, obviously I realized the whole Perseus is Percy Jackson storyline, whatever, but the author is kind of telling his storyline in a way of like, why are you feeling bad for him but not for Medusa? And I really enjoy it. There's like a lot of nuance in it, but I'm just getting bored with like the other storylines that we have. There's still like maybe 140 pages left or something along the lines, and I don't know what is going to be at the end of this book, because like what else do you have to even wrap up with? I don't know. I'm hoping to finish this within like the next hour and a half. I definitely want to finish this before I go get dinner, but yeah, that's my little update on this book. I like it so far. I think this is one of my favorite Greek mythology retelling stories that I've read. It's been a while since I've read one too, so it's nice to kind of be back in this sort of world with these characters. But yeah, I'm gonna try and finish this. Also, this book cover is beautiful. Like, that is stunning. Miss Bella is sleeping right here. I have officially finished Stone Blind. I right now have 14 hours and 40 minutes left on my timer, and I think I'm gonna give this a 3.5. I really liked the story and reading the retelling. I also really like it because obviously, like, if you know the story of Medusa, it's always seen as like she's the villain or the thing to be scared of, but in this retelling it makes you feel really bad for her. You feel a lot of sympathy for her and you hate Perseus, and I just really liked the way that it was retold. So yeah, this is a 3.5. I need to update my Goodreads quick. We have to choose our next book. I have, I think, 3 books that I might choose between. I'm not really sure what I want to read next. I also feel bad because I'm gonna wake her up when I get up, but let's go to the bookshelf. Oh, Good morning. Oh, good morning. So this is my TBR shelf. Thinking this one. So jumping directly into the next book, I do have a mystery that I could read on my Kindle from my library, but I really want to try and focus on reading physical books, especially because we're getting into like the nighttime of this challenge. And I think it's easier for me to stay awake when I'm reading a physical copy versus reading on my Kindle. I literally always fall asleep when I read on my Kindle. I have 3 books that I want to choose between. So first off, Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar. I have had this on my TBR since this book came out, but I was always told that it would be better to read in like fall or even like winter in these more moody months. I don't fully know what this is about. I'm obsessed with this book though. This is just a beautiful book. It takes place in Spain and it has something to do with magic. So this is choice 1. Book 2 is Lady Macbeth. I'm wondering if this is shorter. This one is shorter than The Familiar. I think I might read this one if I'm honest. I don't know really what this book is. I just know it is a retelling of Lady Macbeth, but like a fantasy version of it. I have heard people don't really love this book, so that does make me nervous, but I think we might do this one. And then lastly, I also have Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. The only reason I don't want to read this book right now is because this book is still pretty new. I literally bought this book in my last book haul. This is like the only thriller I think I have on my physical TBR, and this would be about the time that I would want to reach for a thriller. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna read this on a different date. We're gonna go between these two. I think we're gonna go between these two. I think I might read the first chapter or read like the first page. I don't know, just to see how I feel with the writing. See, I haven't read anything from Leigh Bardugo before, but I know that isn't this author's writing very like lyrical? I don't think I've read from either of these authors before. I think I've tried to read the one book from Ava Reid, but I don't think I got far into it. Anyways, let's read the first chapter. I'm gonna resume my timer. Resume in timer. I'm gonna read the first chapter and then we'll figure out what we're gonna read fully. I am only 42 pages into this book, so I fear my opinions on this story are not like that strong right now. But one thing that I have noticed, and I do not like in books, is there is a lot of like, there's not a lot of dialogue between characters is something that I'm noticing, which I do not like. I like reading dialogue and feeling like I'm in the scene. Right now it feels like it's just very descriptive on what is happening, but it's not actually like quotes between characters talking to each other. And honestly, like, I was reading the synopsis on the little cover. I have no clue what this book is about. This book is like almost 300, just shy of 300 pages, which is really short for like a standalone fantasy world book. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Hi everyone, I am back in the same spot. I didn't film anything while I was at dinner, but I'm back and it's right now 8:20 and I still have 14 hours to read. My original goal was to read for another 4 hours today, but I think 4 hours is kind of a long shot, so I think 4 hours is kind of asking for a lot. So I think I might lay in bed or maybe lay out here. I at least want to read until we get to 12 hours for tomorrow. So I'm gonna open back up Lady Macbeth and try and read that. I'm gonna play with Stella a little bit. I don't know if I'll give any more updates today because I am tired. I will say I was starting to have like eye cramps. I don't even know what it was, but like my eye right here hurts a lot and it was really bad earlier, but it's gotten a bit better. So I needed a break. Regardless if I went out to eat or not, I needed a break. Back to the grind. I fell asleep. Thank God we're not doing 24 hours in a row. I genuinely don't think I could do that. So I fell asleep last night at like literally 8:30, slept 12 hours, okay? Woke up, my eyes twitching a little bit. So I think today we might have to do some audiobooks. I kind of want to like clean my apartment, and I think audiobooks would be good to do that. I just need a little break from staring at a book, but I do want to finish this challenge. My timer currently is at 13 hours left of this challenge, and last night I got to page 100 of, what is this called? Lady Macbeth from Ava Reid. I'm still kind of feeling the same way that I felt about it yesterday. I'm having a hard time connecting with the book. Guys, if you see my eye twitching in this clip, just ignore it, please. I'm having a hard time connecting with this book, and obviously yesterday I read 2 books in full, completed them. That doesn't make sense. Anyways, yesterday I read 2 books, so part of why I'm not fully loving this book could be that. But I will say, last night when I got home from dinner, I decided to play with Stella and listen to an audiobook, and I liked the audiobook for this book a lot better than reading it. So if you have been looking at this book but the reviews of it have been kind of scaring you, honestly I would listen to the audiobook, even like if you're like me and want to buy a copy of the book, because this is a beautiful cover and I want it on my bookshelf. But like, listen to the audiobook and read it. Because I'm doing this challenge, I'm not going to do that. I want to try and just get this done in like the least amount of time that I can. I really want to see how many books I can read in 24 hours. But yeah, right now this morning I'm gonna sit and try and read quite a bit of this. We're gonna try and make another eggnog latte. I have an idea of how we can make it good today and not like yesterday. And then yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna read after this. Like I have no idea what the next book we're gonna read is. Oh my god, my eye needs to stop twitching. Let's start this timer. Let's start this. I didn't like that book. I don't know why, but I really did think I was going to be the one person who is really going to enjoy this book. I feel like I've only heard bad reviews about this story, and I have to agree with them. I do think you could argue part of it was I started this book and I had already read 2 books yesterday. So my brain just like wasn't fully there for this story. This story is a lot of explaining versus like dialogue heavy text. And I personally hate that. So I'm kind of glad I'm done with this book, finished this book, 3rd book done. I have 12 hours left to go. I still have so much time. Oh my God. That is what the timer is looking like. I think if I'm gonna give a rating for this book, I would probably give, I'm in between a 2 and a 1 star. I honestly think it's gonna be a 1 star. A 1 star feels a little harsh, but a 2 star feels a little too high. So yeah, that's my final review. Stella is right now trying to get my breakfast that is sitting at my desk right now. I think the next book we are going to read, I really need to switch genres. I don't want to read any sort of like magical fantasy-esque. I would love to read a thriller. I've been talking about that one thriller that I have on my shelf, but it's the only one that I have, and I don't want to read it yet. I do want to get through some of my older books. So I think the next book I'm gonna read is Sophie Wan's Women of Good Fortune. I think this is a romance or it's like a literary fiction. You are really trying hard to get my breakfast sausage. This book is supposedly a mix of Crazy Rich Asians and like Ocean's 8, Ocean's 11. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna try this. The audiobook is on Spotify, so I'm gonna listen to some of the audiobook while I'm getting ready and finishing up eating. We'll probably just sit down and try and knock this book out. It is about like 320 pages. The font looks pretty decently big, so I should be able to finish this and probably grab another book in this reading vlog, which is crazy. Oh my God. This reading vlog is so long. the day. I'm right now on chapter 8. Stella is right now sneezing because of the hairspray in the bathroom. I'm right now on chapter 8. I think this book is going to be more so about like female friendships and a story about this group of friends. We're following 3 main characters. One of the main characters is going through with a wedding. She's marrying like the richest man. It's in Shanghai. So she's marrying into his family, and the other 2 friends, one of them really needs the money for a plastic surgery, and then the other one really needs the money so that she can go to America to freeze her eggs. She was really hoping to get a job promotion. She didn't get the job promotion, and so it kind of sets all of these friends down a path to do a heist at the one friend's really extravagant rich wedding. In their culture, I believe they have these red envelopes that they always give to the first marriage at a wedding as a gift, and it will be filled with money. So the whole point of the book is these friends are going to go through with a heist and steal the money from the wedding. So yeah, I right now have 11 hours left of reading, and I am going to make my coffee this morning, and then we're gonna go lay in bed and read. I think today we're going to try and make the same coffee I made yesterday, except make it with brown sugar because I think it will make it a little bit better. Also, tomorrow is literally Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna use my little candy cane cup because it's like the last day I can use it. While that's getting ready to go, we'll grab some brown sugar. I really hope this actually works. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be really sad. This is the almond milk. I might add some more brown sugar. Let me pause the timer. Honestly, the fact that the timer was running for a little bit while I wasn't reading doesn't really matter, because this morning I was reading and forgot to even start my timer. So that probably just equaled that out. I go home tomorrow for Christmas, and I told my family I'm gonna bring this home so everyone can try it, because I was not impressed by it, but I want everyone to try it and see what their opinions are. And hopefully this is good. I always make my own coffee at home. I love my Nespresso. I usually actually make a maple syrup latte. That's been my new go-to, but I used to always make brown sugar lattes, so I have a feeling it's just going to taste the same. Honestly, this stuff doesn't really taste that strong of eggnog, so if you don't like eggnog, maybe try this. I don't know if it will even be available because this video is going up after the holiday season, but anyways, let's try this. Yeah, that's so much better than yesterday. Two updates. Sorry if you can hear the laundry. I have to wash my towels right now. Is it really loud? Be honest. I've had to play ambiance noises because I think the 24 hours is starting to get to me. I'm right now at 9 hours and 55 minutes left. 2 days of just sitting down and doing nothing but reading. I love reading. Yesterday, I was having the time of my life because I don't really give myself a lot of time to just sit down and binge read a book. Most of the time, I'm reading in my free time in between tasks, or I'm reading at night, but I'm usually not reading a lot at once, if that makes sense. And so yesterday, I had a lot of fun just doing that. Today, I cannot get my brain to focus. It's getting really annoying. This book is really good. I want to say that first and foremost, but it's really hard for me right now to learn and like differentiate the characters because we are following some different storylines. We're following the different characters as they're all working together to get this heist to work, but it's hard for me to differentiate the different characters from each other. So that's one thing. Also, they're right now talking about like surveillance systems, and they're talking about AI, and I hate AI. Call me a boomer. I refuse to use AI. I hate AI. That in a book is just like taking me out of it. Yeah, I'm hoping to finish this in a couple hours. I might honestly listen to some of this on audiobook and like work on my computer for a bit. I think I'm gonna read until I get really tired because I am laying in bed, A, for a change of scenery, but B, Stella is asleep and she is the light of my life, so I do what she needs. But I think I'm gonna read until I get too tired to stay awake, and then I'll probably put on an audiobook and just listen to this. I don't know when I'm gonna run out of audiobook hours, because I have listened to quite a few of these books on audiobook. I'm currently on page 133. I am reading this book a lot slower than I read like the other books. My brain is just not working as fast as it usually does, so that is my fault. But yes, I'm gonna turn my Christmas ambiance back on, because listening to a fireplace is like the only thing that is helping me stay focused. I have a heavy feeling we're gonna have to be reading tomorrow when I'm back home. 9 hours and 55 minutes means that I would be done with this at 10 p.m. Okay. Another update time. I have 8 hours and 12 minutes left of this readathon. I just paused my timer. I just finished Women of Good Fortune. I went into this and like I bought this book on a Barnes & Noble sale that they had on like hardcover books originally, and I don't know why now that I'm looking at the cover, but I thought this was like gonna be a romance story. I feel like most of the time when books have this sort of like cartoon character, it's a romance story, but this was just a story about female friendship, and it was so good. I loved this book. It was so good. I think this book is going to be a 3-star. It's not necessarily a book that like changed my life and I'm going to think about all the time, but it was a good book nonetheless to like pass some time. I liked the story. If by chance you at all like Crazy Rich Asians, I would really recommend this book. It actually kind of feels like how I felt when I read Crazy Rich Asians, because in both of the books it's taking place like before a wedding, so you're following the wedding planning, you're following the honeymoon, or not the honeymoon, you're following the bachelorette trip, and then the wedding itself. And so yeah, I really liked this book. 3-star. I think I am gonna take a little break. I paused my timer. It's right now almost 2 o'clock. I need to eat some food, and I kind of want to just eat and maybe watch a YouTube video or something. That way I go into my next book open mind, clean slate. I don't want to just like rush and pick a different book and then go straight into the audiobook. I may regret this decision tonight when I have to make up like another hour in the timer, because I'm sure I'll probably like take an hour to make food and then get back to reading, but I don't know. I need a little break. There's a lot of books that I've been reading. I'm gonna go make food. I'll see you when I'm back. I took my little lunch break, had some noodles, and I feel refreshed and ready to keep on with this reading challenge. I did decide I am gonna read The Mystery as my next book. I chose this book for 2 reasons. One, it's right now 2:30, which is usually around the time that I start getting sleepy and want to take a nap. So to combat that, I wanted to choose this book because if it's thrilling, if it's gonna be like gripping, I want to read that around the time that I'm gonna be sleepy, and also I can have an energy drink. And then also this book is like pretty short. I think this book is like under 250 pages, so I can knock out this book and then jump into, I think my brain is gonna need a YA book. I don't think I can do a full adult book. We're gonna try this. I am gonna watch some YouTube as I'm reading, so I'm probably not going to be as focused, and it's probably going to take me a bit longer than it should to get through this book, but I need it. I'm losing my mind a little bit. I just got back from a walk with Stella, and I was listening to some of this on audiobook, and then I was laying down and read a bit. I'm about halfway through it. I'm on page 105. So This Is Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. All I knew about this book before going into it and reading it. Also, it is 4 o'clock. I'm having an energy drink now because we're just gonna try and grind out these next 7 hours. All I knew about this book is that the premise of the story was these estranged siblings that end up having to come back into each other's lives because their mom dies and they have to settle the house, all of those things. And while they're doing that, they see a VHS tape that shows their dad covered in blood and then the camera cuts. This book is multiple POVs and it also takes place present timeline and then the past timeline. I don't know if it's because the book is in first person and I don't like the way that the author writes first person for some of these characters, but the characters feel very like one-dimensional and fake, especially on the chapters that take place in the 1999 timeline. I think it's just because the author is trying to write how people talked back then or like use phrases and how parents thought. I don't know, but it just feels like half fleshed out characters and I'm not loving that. I mean, it's going by pretty fast, so I'm gonna sit and I want to just try and read the rest of this book within like the next hour and a half maybe, and then start a different book. I'm not hating it. I don't know. It's one of those books where I explain to a camera what the book is about and I get excited thinking about it because it sounds like it would be really interesting, but then I actually read it and it's just not. You guys, I finished the book. This book is one of those thrillers that just pisses you off. This is the second book that I've read from this author, and I just don't think this author is for me. That's that. So I'm not gonna harp on the book that much, but I think, like, now that I'm looking back on the books that I've read recently, I haven't read mysteries or thrillers in a really long time. Honestly, just because anytime I do, I just get annoyed with how they wrap up and how they end. This book is one of those books that I think you do have to read it all in one go. It's only like 250 pages, so it's not hard to do that at all. But this book just pissed me off. I hate when thrillers don't feel realistic, and this just did not feel realistic. I think this book is going to be a 2-star, which is the exact rating that I gave her other book, so that's that. This is what the timer is looking like, and I don't know what I'm going to read next. I did just pause it because I need to run to the restroom, and then I need to decide what I'm going to read next. Let me pick out the 2 books that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about these 2 books. So, Atlanta, not that I'm trying to read all like Greek mythology retellings, but this is another one. And the reason that I think I would like reading this, yes, it's a little bit more magical in that sense, but it's not a whole fantasy world, so I don't need to worry about like my brain being a bit burnt out. I also kind of want to get back into another fantasy world, and I could do that with Lightlark. So this looks like it's going to be like over 400 pages. Looks like it's closer to like 300. So I think we might do this one just because it's a bit shorter, and with the amount of time I have left on this timer, I might actually be able to finish this and then we might be done with this challenge. I'm really enjoying the ambiance of it being nighttime and being able to watch my soundscapes and have my candles burning. But yeah, we're gonna start this next book, last book for the video. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bored of this book. I'm gonna keep up with it though. I don't want to DNF it. I'm only 60 pages into it, so I don't have like that much of a taste of what the book is about. Also, I realized I've been saying Atlanta. It is Atalanta. Atlanta. She was left in Artemis's forest, so Artemis kind of raises her and then sends her to this like warrior challenge thing to find the golden fleece, and supposedly she's gonna fall in love with a guy, which is this whole thing. Artemis, basically any of her followers live a life of solitude without men. So I'm not sure how the story is going to progress. I don't love the main character, but also it's too early for me to really tell. I did actually start an audiobook. So I have the book Fascism by Madeleine Albright. I have the physical copy of the book. I bought it a while ago, and I don't know, it's like one of the few books on my physical TBR that isn't like every book that I've been reading today, and I thought that it would be a good audiobook. Listened to the first 2 chapters and I really like it as an audiobook, so even if I run out of my Spotify time, which I feel like I'm gonna run out of my Spotify time very soon, but I think I honestly might listen to this full book on audiobook. Even if I run out of my time this month, I'll just finish it next month. It's really interesting because it's right now like it's talking about Mussolini and it feels like I'm just in a history class. But yeah, I right now have 4 hours and 36 minutes left of this challenge, and it is right now 6:20 p.m. I have 2.5 hours to go, and I only have that much left to read in this book. Do I have to start another book? I could just continue reading the physical copy of Fascism, but I don't really want to read that as the physical copy. Like, I want to listen to it because it makes me feel like I'm in like a history class. So I might have to start another book, which is crazy. I've read so many books. Granted, a lot of the books that I've read have been pretty decently printed fonts, as well as 300 pages. I think 2 of the books were like less than 300. They were like 250. It's just crazy. I've read so much. I'm ready for this challenge to be over. Morning! I have been listening to my audiobook this morning. It is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas if any of you celebrate. I know this video is going up way past Christmas, but I hope you guys all had a good Christmas or a good holiday season. This morning I'm going to sit down and read Light Lark. I have been up for like 20 minutes or so, so I have an hour and 40 minutes left on my timer. We're just gonna lay down and try and read as much of this book as I can. I don't want to go home and have any more of this challenge left. I want to be finished with it. Team, don't look at my banks. We are in the last 10 minutes. We're almost in the last 5 minutes. Ah! It took me 3 days to do this. Dude, I've never been so excited to hear that damn alarm go off. Thank God we're done with this. Love reading. This challenge was really fun, but I just want to lay down on the couch and watch YouTube. Let's talk about it. 24 hours. 24 hours of straight reading is crazy. That was a lot of fun. 3 days of reading. I read so many books, which let's talk about. I read and completed all of these books. In case you forgot all of the books we read in today's video. Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, loved this. Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, a Medusa retelling. Also loved this, but I don't think I rated it that highly, but I did like this one. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Did not like this one. Women of Good Fortune. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this book. Please pick up this book. It was such a cute tale of friendship and just like a fun heist. Would recommend. Also a beautiful, beautiful cover. I love this cover. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I just don't think this thriller author is for me. And also I just don't think thrillers as a genre are for me anymore, which is unfortunate because I loved thrillers. And then Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I love Jennifer Saint, love her writing, love the way that she tells stories and does retellings. I just don't think I cared for the story of Atalanta, which is why I didn't rate this super highly, but I love Greek mythology retellings. I also started Light Lark and started listening to Fascism by Madeleine Albright. That is so many books. If you guys need to get through a physical TBR, 100% just try and do a 24-hour reading challenge. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you want me to do these. I would say monthly, but I work a full-time job, so that's not happening. Maybe like every 2 or 3 months, I might try and do these to challenge myself to get through my physical TBR. This was a good push to the end of the year reading goals. My reading goal for this year was literally only 50 books. My reading goal on Goodreads is usually pretty low. I like to enjoy reading versus feeling like I need to read faster just to hit a reading goal. For my reading challenge this year, out of 50 books, I have read 105 books. That's insane. So yeah, thank you again for watching. I will see you in my next video. And until then,